Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun.
Welcome back to the Feeling Home Show, the most unserious baseball show on the planet, hosted by the best brother-sister duo in baseball. My name's Anthony. That is not my sister Lisa. Maybe it's the best brother-brother duo in baseball, but that is the Czech Republic, the terror of the Czech Republic, the onslaught of New Mexico, the great Brett Bino. Brett, how you doing, Brett?
Hey, man, just got to say one thing. Go Yanks.
Yeah. You see my hat. I got the Royals hat. That's going to be a big series that's going on. Playoff baseball is here. Pete Alonso. How about Pete Alonso showing the world that he does not suck? And screw you guys if you thought he sucked. Pete Alonso does not suck. He's showing the world who he is. Great series. Wildcard series just wrapped up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the upcoming series. Ohtani's first playoff run. Judge is in the playoffs. He's playing against Bobby Witt Jr. One weekend, I think this might be the best playoff October baseball I've ever seen in my life. I'm hyped after 1 week. But before we get into it, if you like what we're doing, go ahead and shoot us a subscription. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing this all through October and probably for the rest of my life. And Brett will be coming in as well, interchangeably, with my sister whenever she needs a pinch hitter. Brett's here for the rest of his life as well, it sounds like.
That's right.
All right, well, let's just hop into it. I mean, did you watch Pete Alonso save the Mets season?
I did. I mean, I'll be honest with you, not because I'm a Yankees fan. It has nothing to do with it. I was pulling for the Brewers. But yes, I did see Pete Alonso's go-ahead home run.
Brett is a Met hater for some reason. I think my sister was
Definitely not.
You said they were cringy.
They are cringy. They're very cringy. I don't know what my beef is with Jesse Winker, but I don't like that guy.
All right, we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about how we got to the magical moment with Pete Alonso hitting that game-winning 3-run home run, right? So game one, we got Mets at Brewers. Freddie Peralta for the Braves gives up a three-run inning in the second inning. Gives up 3 early, but he settled in, retired 9 in a row before getting taken out. Now, in the next inning after that, after he got taken out, the Mets put up 5 against the first reliever they saw. End up winning that game 8-2. In game 2, it was the opposite, where the Mets had the lead. The Brewers ended up coming back in the late half of the game, probably like in the 7th or I think it was the 8th inning. They hit 2 home runs off Phil Maton, former Ray reliever. So, sorry, Mets, you got a Rays reliever who didn't know how to throw on that one. But 2 home runs off Maton, then it goes to game 3. And we don't get a lot of game 3s in the wild card series. Usually the first team who wins the first game, they move on to win and they sweep in 2. We get game 3. We had a pitcher duel going in this one. And I want to get your take on this, Brett. We had a pitcher duel going in this game where it was a shutout through 7 innings for pretty much. For Milwaukee, Tobias Myers. Don't know a lot about Tobias Myers, I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch a lot of Brewers games, but this guy was shoving it up the Mets' ass for 6 innings. Excuse my French. They were shoving up the caboose, bro, for 6 innings against the Mets. Or 5 innings. So they didn't let him go 6. And that's my beef. 5 innings, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, shutout baseball through 5, only 66 pitches. That's what we call cruising. The only guy in the Mets who had anything off that guy was Lindor. He was 2 for 2. Everyone else was terrible. And the Brewers end up taking him out. They put a reliever in, and he shoved. But did you not want to see that pitcher go back in for the 6th? Or are you kind of like, hey, 3rd time's through the order, we're taking him out? What's your take on that?
No, man, you got to let him go through. I mean, obviously statistics and whatever behind the decision was definitely don't let the lineup roll over for another time. But if a guy's cruising, feed the hot hand, man. The bullpen's kind of worn out. It's drained. It's probably tired. If a guy's on a heater, man, just give him the ball. You don't ask questions.
Dude, I was watching a game and I was so pissed. I'm like, we're watching a classic right now. It is 0-0. You got Myers going up against 2 pitch for the Milwaukee, Quintana, or for the Mets, Quintana. Dude, We have a classic winner go home starting pitchers just shoving it up the other lineup, right? And then you take them out after 5 innings with 66 pitches?
Yeah.
I told my dad, I was pissed, and I told my dad this, dude. Buck the analytics, right? I know it says 3rd time through the order they hit better, but dude, There's outliers in analytics. Everybody knows that. There's outliers. To that night when the guy's shoving like that and only one player on the other team has a hit off of him, that's an outlier, dude. You gotta ride with him. And I even told my dad, he's like, well, what if they lose because they kept him in? I don't care, dude. I'd rather lose with the pitcher who I just watched for 5 innings, shove it up the other team's, you know what, and I'd rather lose with that pitcher than bring a guy in who watched in the outfield, watched the pitcher shove in the outfield. Why would you bring in some guy who I just saw this guy dominate a lineup, and now I'm going to bring in a guy who has been watching in the outfield? I'd rather lose with the guy that dominated for 5 innings and say, hey, whatever. You can warm the guy up. I don't get it, but that's the only thing with that game.
I'm with you. I'm in full agreement.
I was scared, dude. I thought you were going to be analytic jock right there.
No, not me. Not me. No,
let's go. Because we're dogs, dude. We like playoff baseball. You let the dogs eat.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Quintana had something similar. Milwaukee took their pitcher out. Quintana stayed in the game for one more inning. I understand the Mets taking him out of the game. I don't know if you saw this, but I think Quintana had like 94 pitches. He threw 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 walk. He was a little erratic, but he was still getting the job done. In the 6th inning, they let him go back out. He gets 1 out, and then he strikes out 2 guys to retire the side in order. And he struck out the last 2 guys.
Yep.
He had 94 pitches. So I get taking him out because now you're in the 7th. He did look a little tired, but he was still getting the job done. Do you still let him sit in there let him go back out in the 7th at 94 pitches? He just struck out 2 guys. It's like, I understand that one a little more, but
I think it's more of like how the manager wants to set up the bullpen, right? Because if he gets him 6, he's like, okay, I can go with my reliever in the 7th. You play it by thirds, right? So you get, okay, I got 3 outs, so I'm gonna go with my reliever for 3. Go with my setup man in the 8th, my closer in the 9th. That's probably what he was thinking.
But it was still 0-0 though, so it's all.
Yeah, but that's kind of like how his brain's gonna work. He's thinking maybe they're gonna score 1 in that time frame.
You'd hope so. Well, the exact opposite happened. They take Quintana out, and did you know what happens right after? The reliever comes in. The first 2 batters after go back to back. Brewers up 2-0 in the top of the 7th. That's not what you want. That definitely wasn't in the plans right there. And obviously hindsight's 20/20. But I looked at my dad. I'm like, dude, I think I would have let him ride. Because think about this, right? He gets in trouble, you bring the reliever in anyway. If a leadoff guy gets on or a guy gets on or something like that, you bring him out. You take him out and put the reliever in. I would try to milk as much outs out of that starter. I try to get as much as I can out of him to save that bullpen and try to elongate that bullpen. I don't know if I'm making words there, but elongate's a good word. That's a solid word.
I think you used it correctly.
Sweet. Anyways, that set up the stage for the 9th inning. They got Devin Williams out here throwing that changeup screwball, probably one of the nastiest pitches in the league. And Lindor's leading off the 9th inning, and the Mets are down 2. Lindor's at bat was insane.
Yes,
to get on base. He ends up getting on first, and then I don't know about you. I was watching, and I thought Williams. I want to call him Class A so bad, but Devin Williams was relying on that changeup a little. And I know it's his best pitch, so obviously he's going to rely on the money pitch, but he was relying on that changeup, and the next batter ended up getting a single. He hung a changeup 0-2 changeup, and he left it up, and he gets a hit. And then he falls 3-1 behind Pete Alonso, and you know the rest of it. Alonso takes it on a ride to right field.
Yeah, I think kind of just to go into that, it's very obvious that pitching trumps hitting in the playoffs. I mean, the Braves and Padres series was a little bit different. They were swinging a little bit more over there, but for the most part, you look at the Royals and the Brewers, right? Final 2 games, kind of more of a pitching and defensive oriented, right? Hitting kind of takes a back burner.
Even Astros and Tigers were the same way too.
Yeah,
good pitching.
Yeah, Astros and Tigers, and then obviously you can just look at the box score for the Royals and the Orioles and see.
Yep.
That pitching was dominant in all those series.
Yeah, but Pete, man, to sit, let alone, I don't care if it was 3-1 or nothing. I don't care if he was sitting on a changeup. I don't care about that. But to take a changeup, that one of the best changeups in the game, on the outer half of the plate, and drive it to right field and hit it over the fence. That I thought that swing was so impressive, and I'm so happy for Pete. People like to hate on Pete Alonso all the time. I don't know if you like him, Brett. He's a
Not
Tampa
my
boy.
favorite, but I know you've met him and you said he's a pretty cool guy.
He's awesome. I loved him even before I met him, and we did do a video on it. Pete Alonso had a charity event, so I'll go ahead and link that right now somewhere up top. But yeah, no, Pete Alonso is a good guy. I liked him before the charity event. He's a Tampa guy too, so he's kind of a Tampa legend. But why do people hate this guy? I don't understand. I know he's a streaky hitter, but he's your
No,
guy.
I mean that's nothing to do with it. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I really don't have a reason. Just
People just
for
hate good
whatever
people.
reason.
People just love to hate good people, bro.
Maybe, but let's talk about how he's 3-1, right? Obviously, it's in the back of his mind. Hey, if I hit the ball over the fence here, we have the lead. And he stays on a pitch on the outer half and not try to pull that pitch and roll into a double play.
Oh yeah, dude, he crushed it to the right field, and that
He
could have been
did.
his potential last at bat as a Met because he's a free agent
Could've.
after the season. So
Yeah.
I'm just so happy. I was watching that. I stood up. I was watching with my parents. I stood up in the living room. And was like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm not even a Mets fan. I don't even care about that. I'm just so happy for Pete. I thought that was awesome. So Brett's worst nightmare, the cringy Mets, and they are cringy. I'll give you that. A lot of their stuff are cringy. Hot
Thank
to
you.
it. But maybe,
Yeah, the grimace shake, like, come on. And obviously, I mean, if you're watching this show, we're probably attracting the same audiences that know who Frank the Tank is.
yeah.
Really wanted to see a Frank the Tank crash out. I really get enjoyment out of those videos of him. So Frank gets to live at least another 5 days of happiness,
Dude,
which
I
in
think
reality, I want to see him crash out.
I don't
So
think he's gonna crash. Even if they lose, I don't think he's gonna crash because,
no, I think he's gonna crash
dude,
regardless.
maybe you think so. He said after the Braves series, and when they came back and clinched playoffs against the Braves, he said that for the first time in 20 years, this team has given him hope. I was like, oh, that's
Think about it. Think about it. Nobody crashes out more than a person who has hope,
that is crazy.
and
That
then
is
it just
true.
gets shattered.
Well, we're one step closer to a Subway series.
Is that the most exciting World Series matchup this year?
I don't know. Otani Judge would be pretty good too.
Yeah, I agree. It's not what the people want, though. I don't think the people want a Subway Series, and I don't think the
No.
people want the Yankees in it.
No, the people do not. The only people who want that are in New York. I told my sister that last episode. The only people who want that are in New York. But
Yeah.
I
I
don't
will
know.
say one thing before we move on. The a Yankees Mets World Series, it it guarantees two things. One, obviously a team from New York is going to win the World Series, and in retrospect of that, it also means that the city of New York will burn down because
Oh
one
God.
team in New York won and lost the World Series in the same night. So you know the city of New York
They need
is
Batman, bro.
they're gonna be they need Batman.
They're gonna need
be in
Batman.
trouble. Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
Mets and Brewers weren't the only series. I thought that was the best series. Probably one of the best baseball
Agreed.
games of the year. Definitely the best one of the wild card series was that game 3. But
Yep. Oh yeah.
let's talk about Kansas City and Baltimore. So Baltimore stinks it up for the second year in a row. Kansas City ends up beating them. A total of, I believe, 4 runs scored in 2 games. I mean,
Yeah, because they won 1-0 in the first game and they won 2-1 in the second game.
Yep,
Yep.
they stink again. I dubbed this series the battle of the shortstops. You have Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know where you sit on that debate. I'm clearly rocking with Bobby Witt. He's one of my favorite players in the league right now. Not taken away from Gunnar
You asked me who I
Henderson.
think's better.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson or Bobby Witt. I mean, Gunner's a dog, but I'm a Bobby guy. I'm a Bobby.
I think
baseball.
Bobby Witt's better, and that has nothing to do with what just happened, what transpired in the playoffs. I think Bobby Witt's better.
What makes you think that Bobby's better than Gunnar?
I mean, this is gonna piss old heads off, but like his on base percentage is better, his batting average is better.
Don't say war.
And I think, you said you're gonna say
No,
war?
I said don't say war, bro.
I'm not saying war. I don't care about the war.
His war's better.
I mean, I said piss the old heads off. I meant like the new people. Like
Yeah.
old heads would be happy, but like his batting average is better, his on base percentage is better. Like defensively, they're both probably pretty equal.
I'm on the same page. I think Bobby Witt. I'm gonna start calling him Bobby Baseball. I saw someone call him that. Great nickname. Bobby Baseball is better than Gunnar Henderson, just because better average. He makes more contact. he can impact the game a lot more than Gunnar, in my opinion. He's a better defensive player. He can use his legs a lot better than Gunnar can. And his name is pretty fire. I mean, Gunnar Henderson's name is up there, too. Your name's Gunnar. That's pretty sweet. But
Let's just put it like this. Do you think the Orioles still make the playoffs if Gunnar Henderson gets hurt the first game of the year and somebody else replaces him?
no, I don't think either of these teams make playoffs without their
I
shortstops.
think the Orioles have a much better chance.
Yeah, that's true. Bobby,
Like
the Royals
I do
are
think
not. Yeah,
the Royals are nothing without Bobby Witt.
and that's why they extended him. That was such a great sign for the Royals. But
Yeah,
this series I dubbed Battle of the Shortstops. Bobby Witt, 2 game-winning RBIs. He hit that RBI to win 1-0 in Game 1, and then on a tie game 1-1, he hit an RBI to bring the lead to 2-1. So Bobby Witt, 2 game-winning RBIs. Meanwhile, Gunnar Henderson and the Orioles, they stunk up the place for the second year in a row. If you're an Orioles fan, I feel your pain. I'm a Rays fan. We did the same thing. Gunnar Henderson, 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts in 2 games. Adley Rutschman, where did he go? I guess he's battling an injury. I don't know what's happening.
Adley Rutschman since the All-Star break has been terrible.
Yeah.
So it was not just the 2 wildcard games.
No, I know. He fell off at 1 for 8 with 2 strikeouts in the series. And this is a guy who I told my friends he's the next Buster Posey. He did not look like it in October or the second half of the season, like you said.
Yep.
But I don't know if you watched this series. Happy that the Royals advanced. Sad that the Orioles didn't. I mean, someone had to go. I was rooting for the Royals clearly, but I like the Orioles, man. It's sad to not. We could have had a little rivalry with Orioles Yankees in the next
little
series.
A's matchup. I mean, do you think the Orioles have a problem on their hands? Do the Baltimore Orioles have a we can't win in October problem?
Dude, like as of right now, yeah, they've gotten swept. They are 0-5 in the last 2 years. They have not won a game. 4 of those 5 games have been at home in Camden Yards. I'll give them this year. Your pitching, they had starters that were hurt, but the pitching wasn't the issue. It was your offense.
I mean they won. They lost 2-1 and 1-0.
Yeah, your pitcher's supposed to hit for you too. You gotta swing the bat, but it's.
I think
tough.
right now, yes, the Baltimore Orioles have a problem in October.
Yeah, I mean,
and they are going to continue to be playing in October, so they're going to have to figure it out.
Well, they would hope because you would wish that one of these years you get in there and then things start to click. I mean, David Price, he had an October problem until he didn't. So he had 1 year with the Red Sox where he pitched real good in October and helped them win a World Series. So maybe the Orioles are the same way. You have an October problem until you don't. Right now, they do. So guess you got to wait till next year and find out if they don't. Now, I don't know if you saw this, though, but people were talking about the fan sizes, like the crowds at some of these games. Baltimore Orioles were one of them. Not a lot. Most games didn't sell out, especially the early afternoon ones for the wild card series. Not a lot of fans showing up at these wild card games. What do you make of that? I have my own thoughts on why that might be the case.
Okay, I mean,
We're talking playoffs, Brett. This is playoffs, season on the line. You think your fans should show up?
I mean, I definitely would like to hear your perspective. But for me, I think it's all about the time in which the game is played. I mean, people have to work. People can't get out of work. It's expensive to live in the city. They have to work. So I think it has more to do with not the price, because I actually looked up the price of what each team was charging for just nosebleeds, and they were fairly cheap.
Yeah.
Nothing outrageous, right? So I mean, obviously, I think the cheapest ticket in each stadium was roughly around $14-15. So had nothing to do with the price of admission. No, so it's more of like people probably just can't get off work.
I agree.
You gotta work. You gotta take the subway. I mean, you gotta take the metro, like whatever. Like it's tough, right? And I think it has more to say with, hey, what time these games are getting played, not so much of, hey, our fan involvement is descending. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
100%.
But what do you have on that?
I agree, dude. I mean, as a Rays fan, we got ragged on last year because of our crowd against the Texas Rangers at the Trop. And now I'm sitting back saying, well, look who can't draw a full crowd on a Tuesday at 1:00. It's like, no duh. Like you said, people got work. People got kids they got to get from school. Like, I'm just going to leave my kid at school all day while I'm over slinging brews at the Orioles and Royals game. Like, I don't know. I see why they're trying to do it. They have those times for TV, so you can like set up the time slots so people can watch the games. But if you're at work, who's even watching on TV at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I only caught the last half of those games.
Yeah. And you talk about like people that are trying to view it too. I mean, you have college kids, right, that really want to watch a game in the middle of class.
Yeah,
So they
depends. I don't
can't they
know.
can't watch.
Unless you skip class.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and
But I'm
Brett were
saying like,
academic weapons.
that doesn't help the viewing or
The
fan
class
attendance either.
or the fan GPA. Fan GPA would probably go
Does not
down.
help the fan GPA
We don't have
at
to worry
all.
about that. Me and Brett were academic weapons back in the day.
Don't you
Never
ever
missed a class. We never missed a class.
student athletes.
Student athletes. Talk about a student of the game. Tatis. I don't know if he's a student of the game. He has to be if he's if he's a major leaguer. I'm just trying to change the topic to Atlanta and San Diego. San Diego just trounced Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta had no chance realistically. I didn't expect them to have a chance going into San Diego's stadium. What is it? Petco Park?
Echo Park.
Dude, Tatis got the ball rolling early with that 2-run home run that he hit. Did you see that bomb he hit?
Nah, I did.
Dude,
I did.
dude. Is he using some
Swing.
more skin ointment? Is he on the skin ointment again, dude?
He
Because
might
that
be. We need to check him out.
that ball went a
Tatis, if you're
long
watching
ways.
this, we're on you.
San Diego looks really scary. In that first game, another former Yankee pitcher dominating in the playoffs. Michael King throwing 12 strikeouts against the Braves lineup. And then in game 2, the Braves tried to make it interesting. It was 5-4. Solo home run. Brought it a little closer, but they kind of went down quietly. San Diego looks really scary to me, and they handled the Atlanta Braves in this series at home too. Impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Mets are the hottest team in the NL, and the Dodgers are the best team, but I think the Padres are the scariest team.
Yep, yep. And here's one thing though with the Padres, they did lose Joe Musgrove, so that's one guy you don't have now. Joe Musgrove, he got a UCL injury in game 2, and he's undergoing Tommy John surgery. So now you lose one of your dogs, who's really good in October. Joe Musgrove's good in
Yeah,
October.
it sucks. Yeah, for sure. It's just the next man up mentality, though. I do think when we get into our picks for the divisional round, I'll kind of get into what I'm thinking. But I would be scared of the Padres if I was the Dodgers right now.
I
I
mean,
would
there's
be.
a lot
I
to be
would
scared
not.
of. People are focused on the
Yes.
Dodgers because Otani, obviously Mookie Betts. They got Yamamoto, Freddie Freeman. I mean, they have guys in that. They have an all-star team out there in LA. But let's not sleep on the Padres, who have the 3-time batting champ Luis Arias, who's going to give you a good AB every time. They got Machado, who's going to be a Hall of Famer in my head. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. Damn. I got Tatis. Tatis is nasty. And they got Rookie of the Year, Jackson Merrill. Not even to talk about Jerks and Profar, who's Mr. Irrelevant. He's had a great year this year. So the Padres don't sleep on them. They might not have the big names, but they still got stars.
Yeah, in October, it's more of who can get it done, who can't. Doesn't matter what the name is.
We saw that in 2022 when the Padres beat the Dodgers too. So we'll see that matchup. To round up the wild card series, let's talk about Detroit and Houston. Tarek Skubal, bro. Who the hell is Tarek Skubal? Bro,
Derek Skubal is going to be the Cy Young winner this year. So
I know. Welcome to Skubal land out there in Detroit in Motown, dude. He dominated game 1. Detroit looked really good. Dude, who the hell is Detroit? They just snuck up. Who do they think they are, dude? They sneak into the playoffs. No one knows a damn thing about Detroit. They sneak their way in. They go to Minute Maid Park in Houston, and they got to play the big bad Astros, who've been in the ALCS 7 times in a row. And they just take their lunch money.
yeah, so I was telling the coaching staff here that Detroit was going to win game 1, but they were going to lose games 2 and 3
I said the same thing, dude.
because Skubal was on the mound. I knew they were going to
I
win.
said the same thing.
And all of a sudden, just the boys are hot in Detroit. They're a fun team to watch. I mean, you talk about some of the most embarrassing teams in the American League of recent memory. Detroit Tigers are up there. And it's not like they were having a great year this year.
They got
But you
hot.
know what? But now out of nowhere, they start to win. They start to play well. They're starting to pitch it. They're playing their brand of ball. up there where it's all cold in the north, and all of a sudden they go to Houston and they take two and they get a big pinch hit, bases clearing triple.
Dude,
Timely hitting and good pitching. It's gonna win you a lot of
that was
baseball games.
insane too, and it was off Josh Hader, who's no
Off Josh
slouch.
Hader.
I know
Yeah.
people talk crap about him in October. He doesn't get it done in October. Hey, I don't care, bro. Hey, 98 to 100 is still 98 to 100, whatever month you're playing in. Okay?
Yep.
Josh
Yep.
Hader's no slouch. And yeah, that was impressive. I thought the Houston was going to win games 2 and 3. They almost won game 1. They were down. They scored a run. They loaded the bases with 2 outs. And a great at-bat by Jason Hayward, who I thought was a good signing by Houston. Old vet. He's been there before. He hits a line drive right at the first baseman, ends up catching it. Close but no cigar. I mean, Detroit, they're just hot right at the right time. And now they're advancing. They're going to go on and play the Guardians. So, it's
Yeah,
good
when
news.
it's going good for you, it just goes good for you. I mean, that ball's hit what, probably 103 plus off the bat, but just right.
Dude, if that gets over the first baseman's head in game 1 and it goes down the line, 2 outs, you're running on contact, that guy on first might score. Maybe. Maybe. It'll be a play at the plate. That'd be pretty fun. But didn't
Yeah.
happen. Lined out right to the first baseman. That's baseball. Meanwhile, you get jammed on a fastball in, and you get a base hit and win the game or something. Like that's baseball. You hit the ball a million miles an hour, you get out, walk to the dugout. You hit the ball terribly, infield hit, you win the game.
Yep.
Baseball, beautiful sport, best sport in the world. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games, the division series. I don't remember another division series that I've been this excited for. Let me pull up the bracket for us. Dude, I mean, let's just start right at the top. We got Detroit, Houston. Then we got Kansas City. Or no, I'm dumb. I'm looking at the wild card. I think let's start at the top. Detroit, Houston.
Lock it in.
Log it in. Log it. Let me get locked in. No, we got Detroit and Cleveland, the Guardians. I mean, 2 AL Central teams. And then we got Kansas City and New York. And Mets, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres. What more can you ask for? I mean, we have everything. What do you want to jump into first? You want to talk about the Yankees, Royals?
Yeah, sure. Let's start with the
This is Brett's team, everybody. Brett is a Yankees guy. That's why I had to throw on the Royals hat, too, just so people
Yeah.
know.
Just a little troll job, nothing crazy. You want to start or what?
Yeah, I can give my little pitch about this. Yankees Royals, dude. It's a rematch of an old 70s rivalry. The Yankees and Royals had a lot of beef in the 1970s. From 76 to 1980, these guys hated each other. You had George Brett, Greg Nettles, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, Larry Gura. I mean, Al Collins. Dude, you had... I don't even know if you know about this. I made a video, so if you guys know it, a lot of Royals fans, it's actually getting a lot of views right now. I made a video about the rivalry back in the day. Probably my best video I've ever done. Shout out me. Second to my sister's video, though. She still holds the top crown. She's got the best video on the channel. But, no, dude, rematch of an old series. They used to hate each other. Maybe they can build off that and hate each other again. I mean, you got Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez going to the Bronx to go play Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. I mean, I'm so excited for this series. I don't know how you see it ending. I think Kansas City's clearly the underdog here, but you never know with New York. You know, they got Garrett Cole, but the Kansas City pitching staff, you saw what they did to Baltimore. So,
Yep.
I don't know. I'm rooting for New York. I don't care if they lose, though. I mean, I'm rooting for Kansas City. Holy cow. Maybe that was a Freudian slip, dude.
You feel bad for wearing that Royals hat around, man. That's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. Either way, dude, win or lose, I don't even care at this point who wins or loses. I'm just I think this is going to be a good series. I think people are sleeping on the Royals. I think that they're going to give the Yankees a tougher fight than most people anticipate. I said my piece.
Prediction. What you got for me?
Oh, you want me to give predictions now?
Yeah, well, let's go prediction by each every time we talk about
Royals in
this.
5. That's what my heart wants, but that's not what's going to happen. The Yankees are going to win in 4 games. They're going to win it in Kauffman in Kansas City. But I want the Royals in 5. It's not going to happen, though.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
Bobby.
for me, the Yankees are kind of in a tough place, right? You know, Cortez is banged up. Um, we don't really know what's going on with him right now. Rizzo fractured 2 fingers, second to last game of the season. So, you know, as of now, you know, us me, we don't know who's playing first base.
I
Um,
know who's playing first base.
Personally, if it was me, I'd put Oswaldo Cabrera over there. But I do think Boone likes him as kind of the jacks of all trade kind of guy off the bench, plug him in wherever. He kind of likes his flexibility and athleticism. I do also think that I don't agree with putting Rice over there, but I do think he's going to end up putting Rice over at first base. If it was me, I would put Cabrera. But yeah, I think it's kind of a tough spot because there's kind of like the injury bugs kind of bit the Yankees right before playoffs started. Rizzo, from an offensive standpoint, he's been pretty good since coming back from injury. Not to mention, he is probably the best defensive first baseman in the MLB, which is going to save you a lot of runs. And then Cortez, obviously, he's being banged up, doesn't help either. Someone just got to step up, pitching wise. But the Yankees, they always seem to kind of break my heart when I get my hopes up. They let me down. But I've got Yanks in four.
I mean, if the Yankees are gonna do it, this is the year to do it.
I
Your
agree.
your kryptonite for the last few years, Houston, the Tigers took care of them. So you guys don't have to go and run into Houston. Now the Royals, they got Pascatino, the Pasquatch. He's hurt. He's not playing. And the
Yep.
Yankees are out with Rizzo. They're banged up. No Cortez. I think I told you this. Ben Rice, he's going in there. He's gonna have a legacy game. Ben Rice, 3 home run game. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. Ben Rice will have a 3 home run game in this series. But I'm so excited for this. We're talking about Bobby Baseball, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, the scrappy Royals going to the Bronx, dude, with Juan Soto and the judge's chamber out there getting rowdy. Bronx baseball is back, dude. New York is here. They're scary. They are the guys in the American League. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They are the guys. Okay? So if this is their year, if you lose this, it's you can't lose this if you're New York. You cannot lose this.
With the big bad scary Astros out too, Michael Kay was saying that they really don't have a choice.
They don't. I mean, if they
They
lose
don't have a
this,
choice and they don't have an excuse.
major
And not to say
changes.
that the other teams left in the AL are bad. There's no way of saying that. It's not what he was saying. But the kryptonite of the New York Yankees has been the Houston Astros, and they don't have to worry about them.
I mean, realistically, what team? I'm not saying what team could beat the Yankees. I think all of them could beat any team at any given time can beat somebody. But who should beat them? None of these teams. None of the
Yes, I
Royals
agree.
should not. The Guardians have the best chance, but even they should not. And the Tigers shouldn't even sniff the Yankees' jockstrap. Obviously, we know that's not how it works in October. Anyone can beat anyone, but just on paper, the Yankees are the scariest team. And there's a lot of similarities to this series for how it was back in the day in the 70s. The
Yeah.
Yankees haven't won in a long time. Same thing back then. The Yankees hadn't won in a long time. The Royals back then were like a young, scrappy team with a new young stud by the name of George Brett. Look at the Royals now. They're a young, scrappy team with a new young stud by the name of Bobby Witt Jr. The similarities, I mean, history repeats itself, guys. The rivalry is going to start this year. Watch these two teams match up a lot more in the future in the playoffs. We might be into something here. Let's go switch over to the other New York team, though. Wait, did you said Yankees win, though? Did you give a prediction?
Yeah, he's in four.
Let's go and switch to the other Mets team. I want to hear your prediction on this. Mets, another New York team, Mets and Phillies. Mets going to Philadelphia after a miraculous series. The Mets just seem to have that kind of magic, a little miracle Mets magic. They're going to be facing Harper and Trey Turner, Castellanos, Schwarber, and Red October. You know how loud it gets in Philly. These two teams are rivals, and they're finally meeting for the first time in October. What's your prediction for this one?
I mean, the best team doesn't always win. I'll say that. And I mean, we can be brutally honest here. And you Mets fans, you guys know deep down that the Phillies are a much better team um, than what the Mets have to offer. But about who gets hot at the right time. I have the Mets taking this in five.
All right. All right. That's a great series.
I don't think that they're better than the Phillies,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're on a roll.
Hey,
I'm telling you, I'm taking Mets in five. They got something special going on over there. I hope I'm wrong because the Mets are so cringy. I want them out of here, but
The
I think
Mets,
that's going to win in five.
the Mets have something about them this year, man. They got some kind of magic. Is it the Grimace effect? Is it Hawk Tua? Is it Candelita? Oh my God, like they got something going on in Queens. Okay, I don't know what's in the water up there, but this ain't no walk in the park going to Philadelphia with Red October and those Philly fans. I mean, you're gonna be playing against Bryce Harper, who's a monster in October, and that
Yeah.
Philly team. They've showcased it all year how hungry they are to get back to October and how hungry they are to win a World Series. Bryce Harper needs a ring. Bryce Harper
Yep.
needs a ring. This ain't gonna be easy. You got Kodai Senga pitching Game 1 for the Mets. Interesting move. Hasn't pitched in the big leagues since July because of injury. They're starting him Game 1 against the Mets.
I bet they use him as an opener.
You think so?
I could see them doing that.
I heard Senga in an interview. He said his limit, his range for how many pitches he's throwing. He said he's throwing anywhere from 10 pitches to 200. So that's what he said.
Yep.
That's what he said.
Opener.
Interesting. I don't know what you make of Senga starting Game 1. I kind of like it. It's very risky though, because I mean he hasn't pitched in so long, but I like it. Schwarber, who's on the Phillies. Schwarber had an injury, not the same as a Game 1 starter. But the Cubs put him in the World Series lineup back in the day when they were playing against who was it that they won? The Guardians or the Indians at the time. They put Schwarber in and he was banged up. Not the same as a starter. But who am I gonna pick? Lindor, Alonso, Grimace, the seventh line versus Castellanos, Schwarber, and Harper. The Phillies should win this, but I'm gonna go with the Mets in 5 as well.
Really?
I am, dude, because I said last episode, I said if the Mets win against the Brewers, they're going to win the World Series. So I got to rock with the Mets until they're out. I'm going to go Mets.
Okay.
I'm going to go
I
Mets.
respect that. I respect that.
Now, we talked about a rivalry between the Phillies and the Mets. We talked about an old rivalry from the 70s with the Royals and Yankees. Let's talk about a rivalry that's happening right now, and it's probably the best rivalry, one of the best in baseball currently, the Dodgers and Padres. We talked about this a little bit, all the stars that they have. You got Ohtani, you got Mookie Betts, you got Freddie Freeman, Tyler Glasnow, the sex god, pitching for the Dodgers too. You got Yamamoto. Yamamoto's coming back, and he's throwing Game 1 for the Dodgers. You got Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Rookie of the Year, Jackson Merrill. You got Darvish on the bump. Musgrove's injured, though. Hey, maybe that's a setback for the Padres. But you got two fan bases who hate each other, and I think they're only like, 60 miles away, 90 miles away. They are not that far from each other. They hate each other. This will be the second time in 3 years that they meet up in the NLDS. The Padres beat them in 2022. They missed the playoffs in 2023. And in 2024, they kind of owned the Dodgers until that last season series where the Dodgers took 2 out of 3. But in my opinion, this is a division series. We have 4 great series to watch. This is a great series. I want to say this is the best one. But there's other series that are just as good, like Mets and Phillies might be really good. But I think this has the potential to be the best. Also, let's not sleep on this. Ohtani's first playoff run. I mean, we saw him in the World Baseball Classic, and we saw him in competitive games. This is Ohtani's first playoff run. Who are you taking between the Dodgers and the Mets in this series, dude?
See, I don't want to keep going with the underdog, but I feel like the Padres have owned the Dodgers.
Wait, who's the underdog here?
I would say the Padres.
I would say okay. I thought you said you want to keep going with the.
I mean, I don't want to, but I mean, the Dodgers are a better team, and they should win. They're probably going to win. But I've got Padres at 4.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, I know that's risky, and it's probably not going to happen. But the Padres are hot. They're playing good ball. And for whatever reason, the Dodgers are always the best team in California until they go to San Diego and play them boys.
Hey, 2022. So you're saying history repeats itself?
I'm going Padres in 4.
Dude, it's tough, man. It is so tough, dude. Like it sucks because I like both of these teams so much. So if I hate to see one of them not play further into October. Who do I want to see selfishly? And I love the Padres a lot. I love their team. I actually prefer the Padres over the Dodgers. But there's one guy that I want to see play deep into October, and that's Ohtani. I really want to see Ohtani play in October. So I I'm gonna go with the Dodgers, dude. I want the Dodgers to win, and I love the Padres. I love the Padres. I love how they're always the little brother to the Dodgers, but they're not. They own the Dodgers low key. When it's 2022 or the regular season this year, they kind of put a belt to butt on the Dodgers this year. I think the Dodgers know that, and I think they're gonna come back and they're gonna answer some questions about themselves. Mookie Betts, for one, I think he's gonna have a good series. People say Mookie Betts isn't a good playoff player. Guys, he played for the Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2018. I hope you know that. Let's not forget 2020 happened too. He played great in that World Series, whether or not you want to say it's a Mickey Mouse one or not. Mookie Betts can play ball. Let's not forget about that. So I'm gonna go Dodgers. I love the Padres though. I feel bad saying that, dude.
How many games is the Dodgers going to win it in?
4. They're gonna win in 4,
Four?
dude. 4 really
Okay.
close games. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be a great series. I think this is gonna be a great series. All right, last one on the slate. We got Detroit and Cleveland. Now the Tigers and Guardians. I saw a tweet that said they played the most against each other in any team in Major League history, but this is the first time they're facing off against each other in the playoffs. So, I mean, you got the Guardians. They've been in first place in the Central all year long. You got the Tigers who snuck their way in. They're the little brothers in the division this year. You got Steven Kwan, contact hitter. Jose Ramirez, underrated dog. You got both Josh and Bo Naylor, the crazy twins or crazy brothers they got going on over there in Cleveland. And Cleveland's nasty pitching staff and bullpen that they got with Emmanuel Clase closing out games in the 9th inning. And then you got the Tigers. Welcome Parker Meadows into your living room, boys. Parker Meadows is legit. Brother of Rays legend, Austin Meadows. Parker Meadows is going to have a big series. I already know. He had a good one against the Astros. They got Riley Green. They got Tarek Skubal, who's going to be tossing the rock for him. I'm going to go Guardians here. I think their lineup's good. I think this is the Guardians' year to make it to the ALCS and kind of get back to where they used to be. Maybe facing the Yankees. That'd be a good series. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go Guardians. I'll say Guardians in 4.
Detroit is kind of that fairy tale team that you want to keep going, and they're hot as hell. But at the end of the day, they're gonna win one game, and that's when Scooball throws. I've got Guardians in 4.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the Tigers have guys on their team who I've never heard of before. Like, I wrote
And
one.
they're playing good ball. But like I said, they're gonna win one game, and that's when Scooball throws. Um, yeah, it's Guardians in 4. I think this series is the least close series in terms of score differential. I do think the Guardians handle them.
The reason I think that this October has been so good so far, every single pick we made, I could see it go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And we talked that last year too. Last time we came on the show, we talked about that last October for the championship series. Like, dude, this is awesome, dude. I'm so excited for this. Starting on Saturday, tomorrow, or maybe today by the time you're watching this video, we got games all day Saturday from 1 till midnight. I'm going to be maybe some people sit and watch college football all Saturday. I'm going to be watching postseason baseball. I'm going to be watching October baseball. I'm excited for this. I think this has been the best wild card series we've had. And I'm looking forward to Judge, Ohtani, Bobby Witt, Scooble, J-Ram. It's going to be sweet, dog.
Yep.
All right, just round it up. We're at the end of the show. Let me round it up with some quick topics around Major League Baseball because playoffs are happening, but that doesn't mean there ain't other stuff happening. Some people were talking about the bye. Is the bye bad? I want your quick response here. So if you get the bye, is the bye bad? Would you rather play in the wild card, or do you want that bye?
No, I think those guys are begging for a few days off before they're playing high leverage, high stress baseball. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about hitters, right? So you see Cole throwing live to Ben Rice. Ben Rice freaking hits one to Staten Island off Cole, which was kind of crazy. But no, those guys are begging for days off, and quite frankly, are probably begging for a few days to relax with their families.
Yeah,
Before
I agree.
before the high stress and just the high stress of October baseball hits.
I agree.
And those guys are getting plenty of live at bats off guys. Guys are throwing their pens and facing hitters. They're probably playing some sort of, you know, inter squad
Like
scrimmage.
live session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was jogging, right? For Stan, probably walking, right? Because the guy's so injury prone. But yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps more than it hurts, but it could hurt when you let a team after you've been off for a few days, right? Wife's been cooking good food, right? You've been hanging out with the kids, and all of a sudden the uh the Royals come in off a sweep in Baltimore and they're hot.
Or the Miracle Mets come off that win and they're
Yeah, or the
feeling it.
Miracle Mets come in. Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think the
So
bye is bad, dude. I think that it's a good reset. You can line up your pitchers how you want, and like you said, you can do live batting practice sessions to keep the hitters timing. The only bad thing is that you don't get that same kind of game feel of playing playoff baseball. But dude, I mean, it's just a break, dude. When you play playoff baseball, if you sweep a team and the other teams go 7, you have a break anyway, so you have to wait anyway. So it's the same thing. I don't see like if you complain about the bye, in my opinion, you're just looking for excuses. Win the damn baseball game.
I can tell you, and we made the wild card game. We clinched wild card this summer with 3 games left of the regular season. We were begging to get that top spot and get a bye.
Yeah, you want it,
You're
dude.
begging
Give
for
your
that
body
bye.
a break. I hear you,
You're
dude.
begging for the bye.
Another thing that happened, the Diamondbacks owner, he said this about Jordan Montgomery, who they signed in free agency. He said that Jordan Montgomery's signing was probably the worst decision he's ever made. He said that they overpaid him and he didn't play as good as he should have. Now, what do you take on that? Because Jordan Montgomery does have a 1-year option worth $22.5 million. I think the owner might have said that so that Montgomery requests not to take the option because the owner doesn't want to pay him that money. Either way, scumbag move by the owner, in my opinion. I think you say that behind closed doors. You don't say that out in the media. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a closed door conversation with him. And Jordan Montgomery, I mean, the writing was on the wall though, right? Like, didn't throw well with the Yanks. Um,
Whoa, here we go.
no, no, didn't throw well with the Yanks. He left, right? Then, kind of has this magical turnaround with a 1-year thing with the
Hey, he
with the
was good with the
Rangers.
Cardinals too, and then the
Yeah,
Rangers.
yeah, yeah. But overall, he threw really well with the Rangers in the postseason. That gets him the money that he probably doesn't deserve because he was kind. I felt like
Whoa.
I personally, I think he was kind of having like a Linsanity run more than anything.
Watch him prove you
I
wrong.
think I think 22 mil for him is just a little too
I
much.
think he'd be
Now,
a fool
do I agree
not.
with him saying that? No,
Yeah,
no, you can't
yeah,
say
I hear
this in the
you.
media.
I think he'd be a fool not to take that option though, because I don't know if a team's gonna pay him 22.5 mil. And also remember, he had a shortened spring training because he didn't sign till late, so maybe that affected his routine for the season. You think he'd get on the horse at some point?
Yeah,
Other news here: the Reds signed Terry Francona, aka
all
Tito.
that.
The Reds signed him as a manager. I love that too. I think that's a good move. Maybe Reds in the playoffs next year with that. Maybe that's all you need is a new manager. Also,
Maybe.
to end things off, we mentioned it last episode, and it remains the same. Wild card teams, when you win the first game, they are 12-0 since the wild card series was implemented. 12-0 since 2022. Winners of game 1 go on to win the series. That's all I got. That's all I got. I'm excited. Appreciate you coming on, Brett, because I know it's past your bedtime a little bit, but
Yeah, no, it's an honor to get on the show.
yeah.
Thank you always.
Yeah, it's dude, a lot, Hey, you and Levi, only 2 guests I think on the show we've had. And my dad. My dad doesn't count though. He doesn't count. He's part of the channel, I guess. And so
Hey,
are
just
you.
remember, death, taxes, and Yankees in 4.
Brother, you need to watch the video I made. You need to see some history.
Yeah, I will tomorrow. I gotta go to bed. I
You
gotta
ain't
go
watching
to work.
that. All right, boys. Well, hey, if you liked the episode, if you stayed this long, I don't know what's wrong with you. You must love our takes. But we're just 2 regular guys. If you love the channel, though, if you love the episode, you want to see me, you want to see Brett, you want to see my sister, be sure to subscribe. If you watched this long and you haven't subscribed already, I don't know what's wrong with you, dude. Just hit the subscribe button. You know you're going to be back watching again. Go check out some of the videos I plugged, and definitely watch some baseball tomorrow so we can talk about it in a few more days. We'll probably be right back here talking about it. Until next time, boys. Brett, you want to say anything to the people, to the fans?
Go Yanks.
I shouldn't have asked. I should not have asked.
Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling different. Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling differently.